Hey, everybody, and welcome to Dicing with Death. Ryan, how are you doing today? Ooh, you're doing so well that your audio is not being picked up by. This is maybe. Let's see how well you're doing now that we say something.
Check, check, check.
There we go.
Good morning. Am I muted?
No, you're fine now. Excellent. So how's it going, Ryan?
It's going well.
Good.
How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I spent the morning trying to determine the gender of the bird that's hopping along our porch.
This is the second time you told me the story.
I know, but the chat
it was
didn't hear
boring
the
the first
story.
time. It was boring the first time, and it will be boring for chat now.
No, it's a wonderful
There's
story about trying to figure
Okay.
out this scrub jay that's been hopping along our fence. Is it a male? Is it a female? We wanted to name it, so eventually we
He's
named it
assuming
Jay.
the gender of this.
Yeah, we named it Jay because you can't determine the male or female scrub jays apart. You know, you got to see like a male and a female side by side to notice the size difference. They're difficult. So we're gonna just call him. We're gonna call him Jay because every day he hops up on the porch and surveils the entire yard, looking over it. As if he's a lion checking out his kingdom.
I'm sorry for interrupting your storytelling there, Neal.
It was a beautiful story.
If you're gonna talk about things in the break with me, you got to make sure they're interesting enough to hold my attention, not once but twice. Bird watching.
Yes.
Great adventures. I don't have anything more interesting to recount from my week, but but we can watch some dragons.
We can.
Would that be
dragons?
all right with you?
I could do some
dragon watch. I mean, you're like level 2. There's no way you can actually like interact with the dragons.
But we can watch them from afar.
Look at them.
Yeah.
Any other announcements or anything to make?
Well, Shenanigans is going to be moving to Saturday, starting this weekend. Although this week's Shenanigans is already full up, happened very quickly. And Frozen Frontier is going to be starting.
I guess Saturday is
it's a much better
Sunday,
day for.
Right?
Yeah, Frozen Frontier is going to be starting Sunday. Are we doing character creation this Sunday or next Sunday? I don't remember.
This Sunday, like
this
5 days
7th.
from now, whatever that is.
Yeah,
the 7th.
So we'll be doing character creation on the 7th, and then we'll be doing our prequel playthrough on the 14th. Yeah,
there's a prequel.
Yeah, the first episode is going to be a prequel or a prelude, maybe.
Cool.
Whatever the opposite of an epilogue is.
What we were talking about.
It's 100 and.
It says on hold in your little overlay, but somehow we keep weaseling in time.
Anywho,
and we've got a new character. Right?
Yeah, we do. Today I'm going to be playing as Leon. Ryan's going to be DMing for us. Leon is a human. He's a fighter wizard dual class, so he's got. We kind of skipped ahead a level.
Hey, you ain't a wizard yet.
He will be a fighter wizard.
Leon thinks he's going to be a wizard.
That's
actually Leon probably has no idea he's going to be a wizard.
Not yet. He doesn't realize he's about to become a wizard.
I got my own prologue over here on Dicing with Death. Boom.
Yeah. See, he's a specialist in martial arts style A, with a little bit in style D. He also knows how to use a dagger and a club because his entire life he's been, well, not his whole life, but most of his life he has been an enforcer for the Goldsmiths Union, who, if you've seen previous episodes of Dicing with Death that Ryan has run, they've been a prominent figure in those other campaigns.
I think there will be enough, enough, I imagine enough references for those that pay attention. If you, otherwise, it doesn't really matter. Although we may need to pick up an episode of Qualnir depending on where you take this campaign.
All right, we could do that.
Or if you can just steer it away from that, and we could.
We'll find something out. He's like 5'10", 175 pounds because he's got 15 strength and 8 con. He's also got 17 intel 5 charisma, and the rest of his stats don't really matter.
5 charisma. Oh,
5 charisma.
that's perfect for you.
Yes. 11 will, 11 perception, 7 dex are the
you can
rest of the
play
stats.
you can play Aldrich as he was meant to be rolled. Maybe Leon could be a wizard yet.
I mean, charisma does not denote friendliness. It's force of will. You could have high charisma and be unlikable as well.
So, I take it Leon grew up in the city?
Yes, Leon.
Yes.
I'll just read you the 2 paragraphs I wrote for his backstory.
Oh, sure, and then we can make that. I haven't heard these paragraphs.
Right,
yet. I didn't want this to be like the Blue Jay story all over again. I wanted to make sure I heard it fresh on stream with the viewers.
I don't know why you hate my Blue Jay story so much. It's a legitimate story.
It was fine the first time, and then you immediately go into the stream with the same story over again. And
not a lot of things are happening in my life right now, man. I gotta tell the same stories over and over again.
I think you're in denial.
All right,
here's so busy. You need to take up bird watching. Okay, I'm sorry.
I guess I could have told you about my horseback riding and walk through a canyon and wildflower picking yesterday.
That's way more interesting. But
I got thrown off a horse. Is that fun?
I would much rather you tell me about Leon.
Okay.
Sorry for interrupting.
Born to a prostitute in a cheap brothel, Leon spent his early days cleaning up after the patrons of the Sweet Rose, but it was never a place he wanted to be. When his mother died on the job, he was cast out onto the streets of Seagate to fend for himself. Leon was eventually picked up by the Goldsmiths Union as an enforcer, giving him some sort of purpose and meaning in his life. While Leon was always grateful for being taken off the streets, he still hated the way his life was. He was working for the sorts of people that had killed his mother, that had sired and then promptly abandoned him, and knew that they only cared for him as long as he was of use to them. And that's as far as I got writing my backstory with Ryan talking my ear off.
You're supposed to do the backstory before you're on the call with your DM.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he'll start interjecting. Mm-hmm. That was actually that's awesome. Good work, Neal.
Thank you. Yeah.
A+. Cool. Yeah, that all works in just fine. So, how old is Leon now?
He is now 27 years of age.
27. So, and you've been on your own since you were orphaned at what age?
I'm going to say early teenager, so like 13, maybe even like 11 or 12.
Okay, so it's been like you've been working for the.
I've been working for these guys for most of my life.
Yeah. For about 6 years or so. What age did you say?
I'm 27 now, so I've been doing this for like 16 years. 17 years. Yeah.
So you've been around the docks, so to speak. And you're a smart cookie. You've probably never been to school a day in your life, would be my guess. Are you
correct? Unschooled completely.
Yes. Grew up on the mean streets.
Yeah, but he's smart. He's got 17 intel, so he picked up learning how to read and write.
Hard Knocks. Mm-hmm. Why don't you walk us through you didn't? I don't think you told us non-weapon proficiencies.
Yeah, so
and languages.
He's got 17 intel, right? He's a really smart guy, even if he's lived a really hard and shitty life. But based on the signs around him and picking up little pieces of paper here and there, he eventually kind of taught himself to read. He's used to kind of a rough and tumble lifestyle. He's a specialist in pummeling arts, in martial arts styles. So he's also picked up blind fighting and tumbling because he spent so much time, getting knocked around and beaten up and beating other people up and falling that he's gotten quite good at these things. He's also learned how to use his ropes very well. Lots of tying up people that the Goldsmiths Union needs tied up, or, fixing this box to that cart so it can be properly hauled off this way or that way. And he's also picked up a little bit of thieves' cant, which he paid extra slots for, I think, because he needed to. Well, he's not a thief, but he needs to be able to speak the thieves' language because he's an enforcer for them. So he's picked up the thieves' cant language, as well as Dwarven, Halfling, Gnoll, and a little smattering of Mongrel men. He's not perfect at it, but he's got it well enough that he can converse with the mongrels around him.
Yeah, well, mongrel language is really. I mean, it's the language of. It's a dialect of Common, right? But it's
Yeah.
butchered by the perverse vocal cords of mongrelmen, right? Which are
Yeah.
yeah. So a lot of growls and whistles and
Hmm.
animal noises, which maybe you can't quite imitate. But there is a large I don't know large a minor mongrelman population within the city of Seagate that
Hmm.
sticks to the shadows and does a lot of the dirty work for the royals as well as the union. Once, yeah. So are you? Is Leon gilded? Is he a made man? And do you see him being a part of the union, or is he just like a,
No,
a
I see
enforce a
him as being
contractor?
the. You've seen The Departed, right?
Sure.
And you've got his character, the main bad guy. Oh my god, the guy from The Shining. Um, what's that actor's name?
Um, Nickel
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson's character
Mhm.
in the beginning of The Departed is talking to the kid and kind of like helping the kid off the streets and slowly like bringing the kid into his network. And I see this as a similar thing where when Leon was
Mhm.
young, the organized crime in the area would, talk to the little street urchins around there and kind of get them doing
Yeah.
little jobs for him. And, they slowly
Yeah.
cultivate the street urchins into full-fledged gang members. And
Yeah.
that's what
So
Leon
that
is.
definitely would have been Chance if you recall from the Kwalnir saga, sort of taking you into the
Yeah.
fold.
Yeah.
You can think of them as sort of a uh, I don't know, foster father or whatever.
Hmm.
Super, but you wouldn't have had a close relationship with them, right?
No.
Enigmatic but charismatic figure brought you in, probably along with other orphans, and that has kept you gainfully employed at least since you were old enough to swing a fist or.
Hmm. Yeah. I
You
also
can
know how to
use. I
use
mean, you've got
dagger
a
and
you
club.
you would have been a useful little brat around the docks.
Hmm. Definitely.
Smart, probably too smart for your own good. So maybe kept a little bit at arm's arm's length. In
Yeah.
fact, I think
Probably given a
this
couple of
probably would
beatings
have.
whenever he spoke up or spoke out of turn.
Uh, no, there's that. I mean, maybe from the other kids, and maybe I mean, yeah, and maybe as you first got into the whole enforcing side of things,
Hmm.
the roughing people off part, maybe some of your esteemed colleagues could have been pushy, but
Yeah.
never Chance.
Okay.
You are aware that there's supposed to be that there is a darker side to the. I mean, so at one point in time, the Goldsmiths Union was an actual union of goldsmiths, and just
Right.
through acquisition of power and corruption amongst the ranks, I mean, they're still technically a power. Yeah,
So,
influential nominally in that respect, but there's a darker side. But you probably just skirted the surface of that. In fact, I think it will have been the first time you would have met Sturge on like the just I mean prior to the day or so before we'll pick up in game,
hmm,
um, to basically give you this mission, this task.
sure. Can you give us a description of what Sturge looks like again for those of
Sure.
us who
Yeah. I mean,
don't
so
remember?
I was under the impression you didn't. I mean, we would just set that up as. I mean, because this is all pretty railroady, right? So we would
Hmm.
just set that up as backstory. But yeah, sure, I can give a visual description of it. So you would have only met him for. You probably would have had 5 to 10 minutes to speak with him in a back room of the Gilded Rat, which is um, a tavern uh, run on behalf of the union. Um, Sturge is I don't have this written down anywhere, but is a medium build, maybe a little on the slender side, uh, bald, with a small cropped mustache. He wears uh, black robes most of the time. Actually, there's no most of the time. This is the only time you've seen him. So it's where he would have been wearing black robes at that time. And yeah, you would have. I don't know. You probably walked in. You probably didn't even get a chance to sit. You like stood across from him at a table, and he, yeah, basically just explained to you what you'd be doing for the union. Apparently, there is And this is the first time you've been asked to do this sort of job. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you can ask me questions after, before, but yeah, feel free to interrupt with questions, I guess. Sure. But he would have explained that you were south of town. There is a hedge wizard. He would have probably described him as a sorcerer or a warlock or something like that. A disturber of the peace is how it would have been. This would have been framed to you, but it's yeah.
What exactly?
And you are set. Hey, what? Are we role playing this, or
no? This is Neal getting ready to bust some
get
balls.
into character.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it that I need to do with this hedge wizard?
Yeah. So you're taxed to what's the word I'm looking for? Not subdue. Like take into custody. What's that?
Arrest.
Appropriate. It's arrest, but you're not a law enforcement officer.
Bring him in for a chat.
Yeah. It'll pop in like half an hour. I'll blurt out the perfect word that I'm looking for. But subdue this sorcerer and bring them in for questioning, whatever it is that happens in backroom union dealings. Specifically, you are told to acquire his spellbook and any other components that strike you as of arcane interest.
So am I supposed to bring the wizard himself in, or just his gear?
Yeah, the wizard is best alive, gear as well. If anyone sort of assists him in the process, you are encouraged to string them up from the rafters as a warning sign, but it would be preferable that the wizard make it out alive. Okay.
So bring the wizard and his gear alive back to the Gilded Rat.
Yeah. Generally, that's the idea.
Okay, and then string up or otherwise make an example out of those who might be assisting him.
Yeah, Sturge would have no interest in his accomplishments.
Of his accomplices. Okay, perfect. All right, my notes are made.
So would you have any qualms about doing so? So you certainly would have heard rumors of these sorts of things happening. You weren't totally. I mean, you're smart, right? You weren't totally convinced that the guild would have been involved, but wizards getting strung up by their necks to the trees is, and there's war in the south. I mean, things have shit has hit the fan. But what's Leon's alignment? I guess is what I was.
He doesn't have much of an alignment yet. I think he's still trying to find out who he is. He's got his own set of internal beliefs, but then those have been kind of crossed by his day-to-day living because he's been trying to survive, and so he's kind of put the notions of morality and right and wrong on hold while he just struggles to stay alive. And I think this story will probably be him deciding what his own course is going to be for the first time.
So how does Leon travel? Is it on foot? Like you would just walk out of the city?
Yeah, I just walk
into the hills to this village.
If I got to go find a wizard outside, then maybe I'll like hop on a wagon that is headed in that direction, so I don't have to walk the whole way. Or if there's no one heading in that path, I'll walk. But he'll walk and hitchhike. All
right, so here you are, sort of hitchhiking your way south and east to this village. What equipment do you have? Can you remind me what equipment you had?
I have clothes and a dagger, but if I am going to have to be bringing in a wizard from the outside, I might want to bring some rope with me.
You don't have rope on your character sheet?
I don't. I only have clothes and a dagger.
So let's make sure you get your character ready. Like there's not gonna be a general store in the village, right? So
I'm gonna buy stuff.
Get whatever gear you. So after you meet with Sturge. Do you have money on your character sheet?
Yeah, I've got like 133 gold.
Okay, so I think so you walk out of this meeting with Sturge. I mean, it was brief. You had a few minutes, maybe. He told you that you were going to bring in the sorcerer, preferably alive. You can string up his friends if you find if he has any accomplices.
Right.
And and you only know this man by reputation. So it's not even So anyways, here you are walking out of his office, so to speak, with a big sack of gold. What is 100 coins? It's a couple pounds of gold.
I've got 5.7 pounds of coins on me. 133 gold, 100 copper,
and I think
50 silver.
I think we'll say that like Sturge just handed you this, and like there's probably expectation of another half or more coming
if I do this job
deliver said sorcerer.
So this is my big break in the goldsmiths union. This is my opportunity to prove myself and make some money.
Yeah, you're a smart cookie. You can probably make that inference. This may be like, this is
some sort of test. Go get this guy. It's a high profile. It's an important job. I'm being given a lot of money to do it, and the person's a wizard.
And also a lot of. I mean, it wouldn't be common knowledge that the union is like kidnapping wizards and right.
Like,
this is word on this. I mean that's what the Red Duke and his men do. Chop off heads and
this is
terrorize the countryside. This is a little
but all right, so Leon's getting his
so
first
what's your
peek
thought?
at
How
the
are you
inside
gonna
of this.
Okay,
and
that's what I was are you well, just tell me what you buy, or buy what you can buy things at Player's Handbook prices at this point.
But sure, I'm grabbing 50 feet of silk rope. Feel like that's maybe I should grab a backpack that I can put the rope inside.
Would you go alone? Do you have like a crew you would roll with? Or
no, I don't think I have a crew I've got 5
hire
charisma.
Any help, or you're just
I think
so. You're just planning on.
Yeah, there's a couple aspects to that. First off, Leon kind of runs alone. He's a low charisma person. He doesn't get along well with others.
A loner.
Yeah, definitely. But on top of that, he's realizing what an important task this is, and he's not gonna. Well, either he's going to complete the mission and become, a part of the crew here, or he's not going to go through with it. So if he's going to complete the mission, he's going to want to do the best job possible. And knowing that this is sensitive information that he's been given and a sensitive task, he doesn't want to possibly bring in other people that you shouldn't be bringing in on a mission like this. He wants to prove his trustworthiness by doing it alone and, not spilling any guild secrets. On the other hand, since he does kind of have cold feet about this, he also doesn't want any witnesses to his maybe refusal to do the job. This is his first time really kind of breaking in, taking a person that he knows is going to be strung up and killed, killing these other people, and just stealing a bunch of stuff. I mean, he's done sketchy shit before. He's kind of graduating to attempted murder or assisted murder. So he doesn't want anyone else to come along with him on this mission, on this job, so to speak.
Cool.
And he's definitely feeling a little antsy about it. He's not particularly excited by becoming the sort of man that visits places like the Sweet Rose and creates a sort of situation where he would be, that creates his childhood again. He's not in favor of that. He's seen some of the darker things in the world and is not really wanting to be a stabilizing force for those darker things.
All right. Anything else you would like to do before you leave town?
No.
So do you want to? So you got a backpack and a spool of rope slung
and
over your shoulder,
a dagger, and my
that's not
clothes. Yeah.
What are your clothes? Just like trousers and a shirt? Do you wear a cloak, a robe?
How far away is this village? Is it more than a day away?
We'll say no. But
would it be reasonable to get there and back in a day?
Um, no, especially no, maybe if you could just walk out there, murder a wizard, walk right back, that might be feasible.
Okay.
But
So Leon's gonna be
more
wearing.
likely than not, you'd probably yeah,
All right.
it'll yeah.
He'll have some sort of brown trousers on, with a light colored shirt with buttons up the front. Um, nothing fancy. Um, nothing too cheap either. Kind of just your general linen shirt that most peasants of the time wear. Uh, maybe a
Hmm.
maybe a wide brimmed hat to keep the sun off of him while he's traveling all day. What's the weather? If it's cold around here, he'll bring a cloak along. But if it's fair weather, then nothing else.
It's fair, but it gets cold. Like you wouldn't want to spend the night outside
Yeah, well, he's not planning on spending
without a
any
cloak.
nights outside.
Okay.
So yeah, he's got money. If he needs shelter for some reason, he'll just go intimidate some people into giving him shelter or buy shelter from people somehow. He's not worried about that aspect.
Yeah, but that's new to Leon, right? Like I think up until 20 minutes ago, you didn't have wealth to go around throwing, right?
Right.
Like you were
Right.
living pretty rough and tumble.
Yeah.
Okay, so cool. So shall we pick up on your way / arriving in the village? Are
Yeah.
you ready to go?
Let's do it.
Okay,
Can
cool,
we get
cool.
some traveling music, maybe?
So we. Oh yeah. I forgot. I
You're in
meant to
charge
set
of
up the
doing that
music.
stuff these days.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you walk and hitchhike your way south and east out of Seagate. This village has a name, and you probably know it, but I think to us viewers, it probably doesn't really matter that much. It's a small village. Is the one with the livestock, right?
Sure. Hamlet has trees. Villages have
Yeah. So
animals.
it is. Yeah, it's a small village. Maybe there's a sheriff, some old knight hanging around the place, but it's not like there's any sort of centralized anything. It'll be a loose collection of houses,
Hmm.
buildings in the village itself, and then some sprawling farms for miles around. Uh, yeah, you're probably able to. Yeah, you're able to hitch a ride on an ox cart, basically straight into town. Do we want to get a token for? Do you have any requests on tokens, or should I just find goofy looking? What do I even?
Just find me
I don't even
a
know what to search. Man with silly hat.
wide brimmed hat, not silly hat.
I don't think I'm. Let's see. It's probably sounds more roguelike than. You said you were wearing.
Linen shirt, brown pants, wide brimmed hat. Just a normal person is a good token for him.
Not just a normal person.
Yeah, it doesn't need to have some sort of
Um,
like special gear.
why are you not a heroic adventurer?
Because no one starts out as a heroic adventurer. That's something you graduate to.
Yeah.
The old egg.
Yeah. So I'll tell you. Yeah. I can't find just a normal dude. I wish you could bring your. I wish assets worked such that you could bring your own token with you into a campaign. Is that not a
If
thing?
you
Is that
have
a
a
thing in Roll20?
character sheet, you can import character sheets from one campaign to another. So I could create a character sheet in one campaign, including a token, and then export it and then import it into this campaign, and it should all follow through.
Interesting.
Yeah.
God, this is the worst.
Not as bad as the lag. We've been getting a ridiculous amount of lag today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's at the point where I've almost 4 or 5 times I've almost said we should just stop the stream and sort it out. I don't know what's happening. It's insane. I really hope it's not screwing up the VODs as well.
Oh, yak.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, server issues.
I don't know. Just atrocious. I don't know if it's like local to my area, or if it's a Twitch thing, or if it's some sort of like inter ISP issue. I have no idea where the problem comes from. Who is that? Is that Leon? Is he doing like
Leon
a flying kick punch?
Doing a flying kick punch. Yeah. How do I give this to a player?
So goofy.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for not picking your own token.
I can't pick my own token. I don't have access to my own tokens. I've never given you such a dumb-looking person before, but it's fine.
You mean until last character? Before last? No.
What? Mama B didn't even have a token.
Insult failed.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make a Leon? Where'd you go, Leon?
I'm right here by the stables.
Tried to make you a character. Yeah. How do I give that to a player or something?
You click on the token and open up all that weird stuff, like double click on them or click them on, and then there's a gear or something, and then you can drop. There's a controlled by drop down. Like a represents character, and then there's also a controlled by.
Yeah, I got it. Can be edited by Leon.
Yay!
Right, Whew.
That was hard.
Wow. I know, I need to work on my Roll20 skills. Alright, so you're able to hitch a cart into town. A apple cart. They'll dump you off sort of in this loose collection of buildings at the center of town, next to a stable. You notice this building off to the left is a 2-story tavern. There's probably rooms on the upper story. The sign once read the Gold Egg, but the letter G has since fallen off, and the building's in a state of questionable repair. There are a few people milling about, but you actually don't really stand out that much. So I think you're more or less ignored as the ox cart sort of pulls into this the stretch of land in front of the stables. It's all muddy and torn up with the traffic. As he and several of him, maybe there's another wagon there also, unhitching beasts of burden and going about business. What does Leon set off to do?
Well, Leon, does he know where the wizard lives in this town, or does he just know he's in this village?
You he's in this village.
But I don't know where.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I take it these are contour lines of elevation change over here?
Those are, that's a hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Well then, the old egg you said looks like an inn or a tavern?
Yeah. That's the only building with a sign. That's you would have been set off
sure. Well,
where the wagon pulled off to unload.
Leon will head over to the old egg and take a look. Head on in and see what's up.
Yeah. For a drink, what'll it be? What's Leon drinking?
Beer.
What is Leon? Sure.
Yeah.
All right. He pulls you a draft into a musty mug, hands it across, asks for 3 copper, 3 copper. That's a yeah, sure, 3 copper. I think that's what a beer costs.
Okay, I will chip out the. You say 2?
And a 3.
3. I'll chip out the 3 copper.
And
Yeah,
you
I'd like to go
the,
take
the
this.
tavern room. Like I said, there's
I want to go take
all
seat
told
next
there's
to
5.
someone.
There's 5. Yeah, all told there's 5 men here.
All right, I'll go sit down.
Most appear to be in their cups.
I'll go find someone who looks non-threatening.
There's a yeah. I mean, you're an enforcer for the union,
Yeah.
right? None of these guys look threatening, right? Like this is a podunk.
Yeah,
podunk
I just wanted to
tavern in a
specify
podunk
before
town.
I say I go sit down next to someone and you say, okay, the guy wearing plate mail with the 2-handed sword.
No, you got
Yeah.
5 drunks in a bar at 2 in the afternoon in a podunk town. I don't know what you. There's no knight waiting in the corner.
Excellent. All right, I'll go sit down in front of one of these drunks. But maybe we can take our first break right here before we get too involved in this, if you don't mind.
I mean, I think we can. Why don't we go a few minutes?
Okay.
At least, right? Do we need to take a break?
We're just having some really bad streaming issues, and I want to solve
that case, In that case, let's
right.
pull the stream down. And,
so we're gonna take a break.
Minutes.
It might be a long break because we're gonna try and sort out this ridiculous lag issue. But we will be back, so stick around and see you soon.